The next section is reading comprehension, and this is a tough one for the students because there are several reading passages that they have to go through from a variety of genres. But afterwards, they have questions to answer, and the questions average a minute per question. So overall in the test, if they have 40 questions, they'll have 40 minutes, and that of course doesn't include the reading passages. So I'm going to show a few different of the samples from grade 3 and grade 4 and some upper level ones. Now, as we go through them, I would like you to try to figure out what types of questions are typically asked. They tend to, there tend to be 3 types. Okay, so this is a bit about butterflies. And once the students have read that, there are 2 questions. So the first one is asking, what does the word molts mean, or what can it be replaced by? The next one is asking about the main point of the passage. This is a grade 4. This one is about crocodiles. Now notice that the question type is a little bit different from in the last question, but it says this passage is primarily about. Okay, and again, it's asking for a vocabulary word, the word frenzy. And for grade 4, frenzy is a tough word. Race, okay. Time, okay. Calm, probably okay. Furor, maybe not. Mental illness, maybe or maybe not. Here's a grade 5. Okay, so this is sounds like a narrative. According to the passage, Jim's father was a... Okay. Jim apparently thought that when his father saw the broken flower, his reaction would be one of fear, anger, curiosity, amusement, indifference. Okay, grade 5, 6 level, indifference might be a hard word. All right, so those passages give you kind of an idea of what this section looks like. So in terms of need, again, vocabulary. The SSAT is all about vocabulary. But the students also need reading comprehension strategies. So some things you can teach include skimming, scanning, using language features, different strategies like that. I'll go over this a bit more in some depth later on. Students need the ability to scan and read quickly. They need strategies for eliminating and guessing difficult vocabulary. But I think one of the most important things that students need to be taught in this section is that there are 3 question types. And sometimes the question types take there's different phrasing in terms of how they're asked. But type 1 is basically a main idea question. Type 2 would be a vocabulary question. For example, what does the word blank mean? And then the third type is the most difficult to teach, and that is the inference type of question. So the reading between the lines. And the students may have trouble with this. So this is where it becomes really important to do a lot of reading at level appropriate or just slightly above level appropriate reading level. And I would say try to read from a variety of different sources. So again, strategies, trying to get the students reading as much as possible. The students who do the best on this section are actually the students who are interested in reading. And this can be quite hard, but maybe a different way of looking at it is that not all students do like reading novels, but students usually do like reading something. So if it's not a novel, maybe it's a certain type of website that they like, or even graphic novels. Get them reading examples of sentences, etc. So I would say reading something that is maybe less than ideal and getting them interested is better than them pretending to read a novel that they don't like and just looking at the pictures. The next point is looking at this idea again of language features. So what makes a poem a poem? What makes an article an article? What is fiction? What is nonfiction? And knowing how these features can help approach a question. So by knowing what typically goes in this type of genre, the students get more adept at guessing and gleaning meaning. While you're actually working with the students, you can try read alouds, you can try shared reading, silent reading. I think a variety, and I think over-reading really helps too. So reading it more than once. The students will get more and more out of it each time. And I believe I've said this before, but even if it seems boring for the teacher, the student may not be bored because they're having success as it's scaffolded for them. Pre and post-teach vocabulary. If possible, I think highlighting words and having students try to guess from context what the word means. So you have them read it through once, highlight all the key words that they don't know, and then getting them to guess from the story what it means. Okay, and here are some specific ways that you can help them with the different types of questions. So type 1 is the main idea type of question. And what you can do for the main idea type of question is get them to rescan and think, what is the big idea? So once they've read it once, reread it quickly. What is the author trying to say? Bearing in mind the students don't have a lot of time during the test to actually do this. Type 2 is vocabulary. So scan for the word used and then look for possible answers. So in other words, if there's a multiple choice type question, let me just back up here. Okay. Line 2, frenzy closely means. Okay, so what I would have the students do is quickly scan through. Okay, here's the word frenzy. So what does it probably mean? They could also eliminate some questions. If they know what mental illness means, it's unlikely that it has anything to do with crocodile, so they could strike out that one. Nothing about this is calm. It doesn't say anything about a race, I believe. So the students can quickly eliminate some answers. So a chance of 1 out of 5 or 20% chance of guessing becomes sort of a 50-50 chance. So you can help the students with those kinds of decisions. So then the type 3 main idea, this is where the discussion of the articles come in. So when you're practicing reading with students, getting them to really explain what they think it's about, and even extending it, or have them write the next section of the story that's not written yet, or have them guess what a certain character thinks of. So asking those deeper meaning kinds of questions. Okay, so that's it for the reading comprehension. There's lots and lots of different ways that you can teach this. I'll go over some more at the end. But if you could pause now and just think of some ways that you would approach these. So if you could look back at the different question types, what kinds of things could you do with your students to help them prepare for this?